Don't trust anyone, not even your family. I know that sounds harsh, maybe even bitter, but when you reach my age, you stop caring about how things sound and start caring about what's true. My name is Daniel Whitaker, and I am 94 years old. I have buried friends, a wife, a brother, and the version of myself who once believed blood was the safest bond on earth. When I was young, I believed family was sacred. That word meant something solid to me, like oak wood or iron nails. I grew up during hard years. We did not have much money, but we had dinner together every night. My father worked with his hands. My mother kept the house steady, and we were taught that family stands together no matter what. That idea shaped every decision I made for the next 70 years. I married at 23. Her name was Margaret. She had a laugh that could break through any bad day and eyes that made you feel forgiven before you even apologized. We built our life carefully, like stacking stones to make sure nothing wobbled. I worked long hours, first at a factory, then later managing a warehouse. I missed school plays and weekend trips because I believed providing was love. I believed sacrifice guaranteed loyalty. We had 2 children, a boy and a girl. I will not say their names, not because I have forgotten them, but because saying their names still carries weight in my chest. I raised them the way I was raised. I told them family's everything. I told them you protect your own. I told them blood doesn't turn its back. And for a long time, I believed that was enough. When Margaret fell ill in our 60s, everything shifted. Illness is a quiet thief. It does not smash the door down. It slips in and rearranges the furniture of your life. I became her caretaker. I learned how to cook properly, how to measure medication, how to sit through long nights listening to someone breathe. Those were hard years, but they were honest. Painful, but honest. We were a team until her final day. After she passed, the house became too quiet. I thought that was when family would close ranks. I imagined Sunday dinners, grandchildren running through the hall, phone calls just to check in. And at first, there were some of those things, but grief changes people. It changed me, and it changed them. What I did not understand then was how quickly roles reverse when you become the old one. When you move from provider to dependent, from decision maker to inconvenience. No one says it out loud. It arrives in small adjustments, conversations that stop when you enter the room, decisions made for your own good, papers placed in front of you with gentle smiles. It began with suggestions. Dad, the house is too big for you. Dad, you shouldn't be managing your finances alone. Dad, let us help. And I was tired. I was lonely. I mistook management for love. I signed documents I should have read more carefully. I handed over control of accounts because I believed trust was proof of good parenting. I told myself this is what family does. They step in. Months passed before I noticed the shifts. Money moved without explanation. Items disappeared from the house. My car was sold because I didn't need to drive anymore. I was informed about my own life as if I were a guest. The worst part was not the money. It was the tone. That gentle, patient voice people use when they believe you are fading. I was 92 at the time, not senile. My memory was sharp. My hearing still good. But once your hair turns white enough, people begin to rewrite you. I confronted my son first. I asked simple questions. He answered with irritation. He said I was confused. He said I must have forgotten our conversations. He said I agreed to all of it. And I did agree, technically. I just did not understand the speed at which agreement becomes surrender. My daughter visited less often. When she did, she spoke about practicalities, assisted living, selling the house, simplifying. Everything was practical. No one asked what I wanted. One evening, I sat alone in the living room Margaret and I had painted together 40 years earlier. I looked at the walls and realized I had become a liability in my own story. That realization does not arrive loudly. It settles slowly, like dust. I'm not telling you my children are monsters. They are not. They are ordinary people with mortgages and worries and impatience, but ordinary people can still wound you deeply, especially when they believe they are justified. The breaking point came when I discovered a transfer large enough to empty most of what remained in my savings. It was explained as necessary. Investment, restructuring.
Words designed to make you feel small if you question them. I did question them, and for the first time in my life, I was treated not as a father, but as an obstacle. That night, I did not sleep. I lay in bed thinking about every year I worked overtime, every birthday I missed to provide stability. I realized something painful. I had built my identity around being needed, and once I was no longer needed in the same way, my value shifted. The next morning, I called a lawyer, quietly, not in anger, in clarity. I learned how much authority I had given away. I learned how difficult it is to reclaim independence once you have handed it over in good faith. But I also learned something stronger than disappointment. I learned that trust without boundaries is not love. It is surrender. The legal process was not dramatic. There were no shouting matches, just paperwork, corrections, adjustments. My children were offended. They said I did not trust them. And for the first time, I answered honestly. I said, no, I don't, not completely. Silence followed that sentence, a heavy, uncomfortable silence, but it was clean. Cleaner than the false harmony we had been maintaining. We do not speak as often now. Holidays are shorter. Conversations are careful, but I sleep better. When I say don't trust anyone, not even your family, I do not mean live in paranoia. I mean understand human nature. Blood does not cancel ambition. Shared history does not erase self-interest. People can love you and still prioritize themselves. Those truths can exist together. In my 80s, I believed wisdom meant forgiveness and softness. At 94, I understand wisdom also means protection. You can love your children and still keep control of your affairs. You can welcome help without signing away your voice. You can listen to advice without surrendering authority. Loneliness is frightening. That is why many elderly people agree to things they should question. We fear being difficult. We fear being alone. So we cooperate ourselves into corners. If Margaret were here, she would probably tell me I'm being too stern. She always believed in the best of people. I still believe in goodness. I just no longer confuse goodness with blind trust. There's a quiet strength that comes with age if you allow it. It is not loud. It does not argue. It simply observes patterns. And I have observed that respect often follows clarity. When I stopped pretending everything was fine, when I calmly set boundaries, something changed. My children did not like it, but they adjusted because people adjust to the lines you draw. I still see them. I still hug them. I still ask about their lives, but my finances are managed by someone independent. My home remains in my name. My decisions require my signature and my understanding, not out of spite, out of self-respect. You may think this cannot happen to you. Perhaps your family's different. Perhaps they are. I hope they are, truly. But hope is not a strategy. Ask questions, read documents, keep copies. Maintain relationships outside your immediate family. Do not make one or two people the gatekeepers of your entire existence. Independence is not a rejection of love. It is a safeguard for it. When you are young, trust feels noble. When you are old, trust must be deliberate. At 94, my world is smaller. Fewer friends, fewer places I go, but my mind is clear. And clarity is worth more than comfort built on illusion. If you are listening to me and you are younger, understand this. The people you love are still human. So are you. Build your life in a way that does not require blind faith to remain stable. Teach your children responsibility, but also teach them that your life is not theirs to manage unless you truly cannot manage it yourself. And if you are closer to my age, sitting quietly somewhere with papers you have not read and decisions you have postponed, I'm speaking directly to you now. You are not ungrateful for wanting control of your own life. You are not selfish for protecting what you built. Dignity does not expire. I love my family with everything I had. I still do in a quieter way. But love without awareness cost me peace for a time. I have reclaimed that peace, not by withdrawing my heart, but by strengthening my boundaries. So when I say don't trust anyone, not even your family, what I truly mean is this. Trust wisely, trust with open eyes, and never hand over your life simply because you are afraid to stand alone. At my age, I have learned that standing alone with dignity feels far better than sitting surrounded by people who quietly make you smaller.